loud, let's hit the dance floor. Don't work too hard, might break a backbone. Return of the Mac, the king is back though. Corvette and cash, I never lack those. She saw the stone, you know how that go. Fatality, my diamonds that cold. Versace trunks, I hit my backstroke. Knock on the door, she at the back row.
As you probably know, I recently upgraded my camera gear to the Sony A7IV and I rigged it up with the cage, the handles and of course a field monitor. For that build I used the Andycine C7 because it's the top notch you can find for a reasonable price with Full HD, super bright, HDR support, big 7-inch screen, but it had two major problems. First, it was really power hungry and even with my MoMA external V-mount battery I couldn't power it and needed two dedicated batteries for long shooting. And second, it didn't support 4K 60. The reason why I bought this specific camera was to make cinematic B-roll. This field monitor was too limiting for me. So in this video I'll tell you which one is the best field monitor that I am currently using for the Sony A7IV. The name isn't that different, it's called the Andycine C7 LITE, but there are some major differences, I promise, because it solves all the problems and gripes I had before. Of course there is some compromise as well. It's everything you expect from the C7, but with 4K 60 support, slimmer design, less power hungry, still HDR support, but with less bright display. And of course touchscreen and with a slightly cheaper price. I'm not gonna go over all the features specific of this kind of monitor like focus peaking, exposure and false color. I explained all of them in my Andycine C7 review, which I'll link up here. This monitor is still made of plastic, of course, but it isn't necessarily a bad thing. It makes it super light, and this is very important in an heavy rig. It has all the HDMI ports on the left side, and luckily the power input and output is on that side as well. The C7 had it on the bottom part near the base where the attachment was, and it was unusable. The profile is slimmer and of course the bezels are slimmer, and there is place on the back for a single battery since it's less bright and less power hungry. The feature I love the most is the 4K 60 support. As I mentioned, to make nice 4K 60 B-roll and then slow down in post, you want to have a screen that supports 60 FPS and doesn't go black when you turn on that mode. It's definitely a simple thing, but I feel like it's a killer feature that the C7 didn't have. The panel is very smooth and responsive in 60 FPS mode. We're talking about a 7-inch Full HD screen with a 1920 by 1200 with aspect ratio of 16:10 display that tops up to a respectable 500 nits brightness. Nice 1200:1 contrast ratio so that you won't lose quality watching the 10-bit colors of the Sony A7IV. Brightness is still enough for HDR mode, which is supported, and this is a bonus feature, since the Sony A7IV supports HDR and HLG 2020. Of course, there are a tons of pro features with field monitor in general that will make your life so much easier as a content creator or a filmmaker. I just want to mention my favorite one, which is the LUT support. Just with an SD card reader, you can upload the LUTs that you use, like I'm using the Mati Papaya Special one, so you won't see on the field monitor the washed out S-Log3 colors, really flat, but you will see the nice final color on the image while you are recording, so you know how the final colors will be, and this is really nice. Also, I really like the false color that lets you decide if the image is exposed correctly, because the exposimeter on the camera makes an average. On the false color you see which area is darker and which area is too bright. And then the focus. When the focus is crucial, you can pinch to zoom to make sure everything is alright. All the touch shortcuts are the same, left for brightness up and down, and right for volume up and down. And then I'll show you some B-roll that I recorded with this Sony A7IV and 4K 60 mode, and they are really nice. The price for these monitors is $216, which is much less than $260 target of the C7. In my opinion, for my workflow and the Sony A7 IV, this monitor is far better than the C7, even if it's cheaper. So this wraps up for today. Let me know what you guys think about this product. If you have any question, please leave a comment in the section. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and as always, stay tuned on Shades of Tech. Ciao!